Hi everyone, morning, afternoon, evening. I am so excited to provide you with a solo episode today, talking all about my 7 day Vipassana retreat. And for those of you that don't know what a Vipassana retreat is, it is a silent retreat. I spent 5 full days in silence with a day either side to meet and leave. And Vipassana means seeing things clearly. It was honestly such an interesting experience, and I really want to dive into it all today and not hold anything back. I know so many of you are fascinated, many of you have been thinking about doing them yourselves, and I want to start with how I decided to do this. So, on my 30th birthday, I gave myself 30 birthday challenges because I love to challenge myself. I love to dare myself. And one of them was to do a day of silence. I've seen these silent retreats. I have thought about them for quite a few years, but never took the nudge to book onto one. And I do believe in divine timing as well. Anyway, one night I was in New Zealand asleep and my mum texts me. So I receive my messages obviously when I wake up and said, I'm thinking about going to this 7 day silent retreat. Have a look, see if you fancy coming with me. 5 minutes later, she'd text me saying, I've booked it, with like a shocked face. She just booked it for herself, but I knew in that moment I was going, this was my sign. And it excited me. I was like, yes, I can challenge myself. Yes, I'm going to be home in England for those dates. This will be such an interesting experience. And I followed that nudge and I booked it. Vipassana retreats, they make them really achievable for you to go. I don't know if that's the right word, but you basically pay upfront to cover the costs of going. So it costs £150, and that covers obviously the food and the setup of the retreat. And then at the end, you donate how much you want to donate for it. Honestly, where do I even start? I feel like I want to be even so cautious of my words. I've been back less than 24 hours and already it feels so weird to be in normal society, to go and drive a car, to be in Tesco's with all of the sounds, all of the people around. And my first takeaway is just being so intentional with how we spend our time and energy and the words that we use. I'm always saying how words are spells and they do hold so much power. So being cautious about the words that we are using and knowing the impact that they do have. And I've also been feeling such gratitude for the simple things. Yesterday, I had a piece of Marmite on toast and it literally tasted divine, and a kiwi. And every mouthful, I was feeling so much pleasure. And there's so often we don't take the time to notice these small things, or we're busy trying to do so many things at once while I'm eating, trying to listen to something. Maybe you're watching the TV, maybe you're looking at your phone. And this is distracting you from the present moment and actually noticing what you're doing. So this is the first reminder just to slow down. You don't actually have to rush. Rushing doesn't serve you. Rushing is just busying you. And often we make so many more mistakes when you're not in your mind or you're not present. That's when, yeah, you're more likely to reverse the car and hit something or fall over or spill your drink on top of you. And these are all signs to slow down. I also want to talk about expanding your comfort zone by doing completely different things. This was so out of my norm. I'm someone who shares majority of my life on Instagram, like all of the details. So to be completely offline, because there was no phones, no technology at all, no journals, no books, nothing to distract yourself. And this was, I thought, going to be a challenge within itself, but actually I loved it. I loved being completely off my phone. I loved waking up in the morning and just getting straight out of bed, starting the day, going to do my meditation. And these things can be really life-changing. Obviously, I'm not going to live in silence every day for the rest of my life, nor would I want to, but it plants seeds that then grow. And this is what I talk about for all investments, like investing time, energy, money into doing things. You learn and you have a return on investment. And these things plant seeds that can change your whole life. And they're things that you will take on with you forever. So whatever you're feeling the nudge to do, you're feeling the nudge for a reason, and you could literally change your life by doing it. I know that so much is going to unfold from this, and this 7 day experience was just the starting point. And your reminder that nothing changes if nothing changes. If you keep doing the same things that you've always done, your life's probably going to keep going in the same direction that it's always gone. But it doesn't have to. Life gets to be so exciting. Life gets to be so much fun. Life gets to be so magic. And being able to enjoy the present moment is such a huge part of this. So many of us are so in our minds, so focused on either the past and like reliving things, feeling frustrated about what's happened in the past, letting that hold you back, or living in the future. I'll be happy when I have this. I'll be happy when I've got the house, when I've got more money, when I've got kids, when I've got my partner, when I have friends, when I lose weight. And we put all of these conditions on ourselves. And knowing that you can actually be happy right now in your current situation, and it doesn't have to have anything to do with your external circumstances. Happiness really is an inside job, and you can feel it no matter what is going on in your life. I am someone who lives life very unconventionally in a lot of uncertainty. I'm going back to New Zealand in 10 days, or I'm actually stopping off in Hawaii and Australia first, but I'm moving back the other side of the world. I don't know where I'm living. I don't have consistent income that I know is coming in all the time. And there is so much that is unknown to me. But I'm actually excited. And this could be something that would feel really stressful to other people. But I've learnt to be comfortable in the discomfort and be so trusting of life. And when you're living in alignment, things do always work out for you. I would argue that things are always working out for you, even if your circumstance doesn't feel like it is, or it feels uncomfortable. The challenging circumstances you have are supporting you to get back into alignment. They are helping you. You just need to listen. So, yeah, you can live life with uncomfortable situations and still feel happy. And that might feel bizarre to you, but know that this is so possible. And it takes intentional time and work to do this. Before I go into like my reflections and takeaways from the retreat, I'm just going to give you an overview on like the actual schedule. So I went in knowing what the timetable was. The timetable was waking up at 4:30 a.m. with a gong, the sound of a gong. We're all camping. There's some people that have paid for fancy glamping tents. There's other people that have just come in ordinary tents. I was an ordinary tent gal, was not paying extra for a fancy tent at this moment, and just getting the full experience. Wake up at 4:30 a.m. You literally put your clothes on, brush your teeth, whatever, and you have to get into the main tent by 5 a.m. because that's when we start our first sitting meditation. So the day starts with a sitting meditation. Everything's 45 minutes. Sitting meditation, then we have a yoga session, then another sitting meditation. Then we have breakfast and a small gap in time. We have another session after breakfast, which was sitting meditation, walking meditation, a Dharma talk. Then we had lunch made for us, and it was delicious. Then we had a 5 session afternoon, which was challenging, where we had sitting meditation, walking meditation, Dharma talk, walking meditation, sitting meditation. Then we had an evening break where we had no dinner because we just had a hot drink. That was part of it as well, was like fasting. So we didn't eat between after midday until 6:30 a.m. the next day. We were able to have a sauna in the evening and a sea swim in the Thames, or river swim in the Thames. And then after that, we had an evening session of a loving kindness meditation, a sitting meditation, and a walking meditation, and then bedtime at 9 p.m. So that was the schedule, and I knew that was it going into it. But obviously I didn't know all of the details, and we do make assumptions. And I went in open-minded, like I'm going to go in with the full experience. But naturally, I was thinking a walking meditation was going to be like a lovely walk in the forest, noticing all of the things around you, the beautiful flowers, the trees, and yeah, feeling really connected to nature. That was not the case. The walking meditation was a very slow meditation where you're basically walking in a line, focusing on your feet, lifting your heel, raising your foot, moving your foot, and placing it. And then doing that with the other foot over and over for 45 minutes. And literally walking in a line forwards and back. And it was making me giggle because honestly, this is the time where I felt like I was in a prison or on like a psych ward. You're looking in this field, beautiful field, but everyone is there, obviously just concentrating on their feet. Some people have got their eyes closed, and we are just placing like our feet in front of another. And obviously, while we're doing this, we've got instructions on the meditation practice. And the meditation practice through the meditation and through the walking was all about noticing what thoughts arise. So, and you note them and you let them go. I'm not going to go into like the details of the actual, like all the meditation practices. And to be honest, I can't remember all of the Dharma talks, but the process was like noticing what arises and letting it go, knowing it and letting it go. And the walking meditation for me was so fascinating because that's when I noticed how much and what was arising. I'm someone who has meditated for the last 5 years. I don't meditate for like hours. I'm someone who meditates most days for like 10, 12 minutes, but it has been consistent. So my body and mind, when I sit down in meditation, I'm in meditation mode. So I found those more simple and easy, but a lot was arising for me while I was doing the walking meditation. I'll dive into what as well. But yeah, just wanted to set the scene for what was going on. What I was not expecting in the day was between the sessions, so like breakfast, lunch, and the evening time, as well as, you know, in the morning when you're waking up and the evening going to bed. I was expecting to be able to like sit with my thoughts, like feel into what was coming up for me, you know, think basically. And I love to think and process. I'm someone who's a big journaler. I'm always writing down my feelings and my thoughts, and I love that. On day one, they shared, want you in your breaks to be practicing the meditations. So focusing purely on what you're doing and just noting what comes up for you, like the thoughts, knowing them and letting them go. And I was like, oh gosh, this I was not expecting. I knew I couldn't journal, but I didn't know that I wouldn't be able to like think at all. And I did really want to give it my full attention and do the full experience. I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to this. And part of it is learning to not judge yourself because we're human. Obviously, we're going to have thoughts come into our mind. Like that is the reality, but it's catching ourselves in those thoughts, noting, knowing, letting go. So it was a few surprises early on. Yeah. Okay. Day one, we arrive and we can talk. We get there, we put up our tents, and we went straight in the sauna. You go for a sea swim. Everyone's mingling. You can chat to people. There's 50 of us there in total. So the place is like beautiful, serene. As we're driving in, I'm like, wow, this is magical. They're speaking about how sacred the land is and how held we are on this land, which, yeah, I really fell into. And I was like, yep, this is the right place to do it in. Went in the sauna and I was chatting to a few of the men in there. And again, when you go and do these experiences, the ones that you feel called to do, you're going to meet aligned people. There's only a certain type of person really that is going to go and do a 7-day silent retreat. So I knew that the people I met there were going to be interesting and were going to be a bit of me. The first man I spoke to was also a health coach, which was so fascinating. I've never met someone who has studied through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition that I've just met outside. I've connected with a few people online, but it was so fascinating that we've both studied through the same program. And that is someone that I know I'll stay connected with. And another man overheard us speaking, or we were all speaking together. And he was like, I've been thinking about becoming a life coach. I'm so interested to pick your brains. We spoke about, you know, doing retreats potentially together, maybe next year, maybe in Italy, just saying. I'm going to have a few of the people on the podcast as well. And yeah, man was chatting about having chronic fatigue. And already I'm sharing my gifts, I'm sharing my purpose. because I've learned a lot about chronic fatigue. I've worked with clients and people that have had that in the past. I know the spiritual reason. I know how connected it is to your solar plexus chakra. So I was sharing some information with permission um, with him, and some of it he hadn't learned. And I know there's so many people out there who have these physical health problems. A lot of my clients have polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, PMDD, and I know they're attracted to me because there's a spiritual connection between these physical symptoms and being disconnected to your feminine energy, or being imbalanced between your masculine and feminine energy. And that's the work that I do. So I know that these women are attracted to me for a reason, and not that I'm helping them with this problem specifically, but it does improve by doing this work. So anyway, I love that I could share my gifts with this man immediately. And I know that, yeah, again, people who have these physical problems have struggled, and you've probably done so much research yourself, but there's actually so much more that's available to you, and so much that wouldn't be taught to you by doctors or, you know, in the Western world, but there is so much more that is available. So I started this retreat being like, this is going to be divine. And going in there with a positive mindset as well is so amazing. Then we went for a sea swim or a river swim, and there was a beautiful rainbow. And I was like, oh, magical. The sunset, and there was these beautiful pink clouds that looked amazing. And already I was like, I feel so calm. I feel so at peace, and just so excited for this experience and what was going to unfold. And other people shared that they, you know, didn't feel this way immediately. So I'm going to say this isn't the case for everyone. A lot of people come into this nervous, thinking like, oh, do I really want to do this? And obviously for me, there was some feelings of unknown, that I didn't know what was going to happen. There was part of me that was like, am I going to be crying every day? Will things arise for me that I wasn't expecting? And I am someone that expects the unexpected, and I'm open to that. But because I've done so much work on my mindset, on myself, really like learning about myself deeply, my shadows, you know, getting to know the parts of myself that I don't potentially or particularly like, I didn't feel like I was going to be really surprised. So that was the start. Then we had dinner all together. I probably spoke to maybe like 15, 20 people, but obviously there's 50 of us. So there's many people that I hadn't spoke to at all before we went into silence. So we went to silence on the evening of the first night until like the morning of the last day. Day one, gong rings at 4:30. I jump out of bed. I'm excited. I was actually awake before and go to do our first sitting meditation. And a cricket, there's a massive cricket, like this big. If you can't see it, it's like, I don't know, in inches, 5 inches, I'm guessing, of cricket right next to my spot in the meditation center. Because we all picked where we were going to be seated. We're going to sit there at the same space the whole time. And I was like, that is a sign for me. And I was like, what does that mean? But I took that as like, again, a positive sign. And when I looked it up yesterday, a cricket symbolizes, this is what Google says, good luck, prosperity, hope, and guidance. In many cultures, a cricket is seen as a sign of good fortune, and its chirping associated with peace and positive spiritual messages. As a spirit animal, the cricket signifies a connection to the spiritual world, promoting intuition and encouraging individuals to trust their instincts. And I love how I always notice the signs and symbols. And these are things that my clients start noticing as well after they start working with me. Again, I really believe that the universe is always trying to support us, always giving us signs, and it's being able to notice them. I'm going to dive into my takeaways, my personal takeaways from this. And I love that I'm recording this literally the day after. So firstly, the power of community. I rave about this. I know that everyone needs a community. We're supposed to have the village. We are not supposed to do life alone. You are not supposed to go your whole life without being supported. You're not supposed to go your life without having meaningful connections, without feeling seen, supported, heard, even though obviously we weren't heard throughout this practice. You are supposed to be surrounded with like-minded people who uplift you and who get you and who inspire you to be a better person and who see your unique gifts, your authenticity, your strengths, and where you don't have to act or perform or change, and you feel like you truly belong. This is why I hold retreats. This is why I hold circles. This is why I created my community events, because I know this is so needed in the world, and you will thrive when you have that. This was such a reminder of this. 50 people, plus the volunteers that work there, plus the practitioners who are amazing. There was Reiki practitioner, massage therapists there available as well. There was, yeah, teachers, support teachers, and yeah, the cook, and yeah, many volunteers who were involved in the setup. And so many people shared how safe they felt, how connected they felt to other people. And this is considering we hardly spoke, and how like supported and held you can feel when you are surrounded by like-minded people, compassionate people. I knew obviously from the first day that when I met aligned people and the types of people that were going to be there, that I was going to be surrounded by like-minded people. And I really felt this, and I noticed it in the small interactions. We weren't supposed to be communicating at all. So it wasn't like don't speak, but communicate in different ways. It was like really like try not to communicate. So we're not supposed to have lots of eye contact or, you know, creating signals with our hands or bodies or anything. But although I'm here for the full experience, I also am someone who plays to the rules to some degree, but I was also like, I'm going to smile at people. Like, that's me, and I want to. So, and I enjoy that little moment. I'm not staring in their eyes. I'm not saying 1,000 words with my body language, but I'm going to give people a little smile. And people came up to me at the end and were like, your smiles really kept me going. And thank you for smiling at me. I love your energy, which again is the compliment that I get the most in life, which I love. And people can feel your energy without you speaking. They can feel you. I also, at the end, connected and chatted with so many amazing people, lots of other people that are in the coaching, healing world, but also there was many people that were there who've really struggled with either physical health or mental health challenges, people who have felt hopeless. And being able to share and hear these people's experiences was so powerful and reminds us how connected we all are. And we were reminded in the talks, and something I felt myself on, you get to influence people by the way that you act and the person that you are. You don't have to preach. You don't have to force or tell people to do things differently. You get to create the changes for yourself and the changes you want to see in the world. And people will be inspired and follow. When you rise, people have the opportunity to rise with you. And many will and do. It might take them a period of time. It might take them years. Some people might think you're weird at the start, but you've got to just keep doing you anyway and disconnect from any of those feelings of or judgment. And staying in the present moment is something that can really help you with that. And you are making such an impact doing you. It doesn't matter if you can't see the ripple effect. Know that you are creating it. We also did karma yoga, which is a practice of helping out, doing chores or jobs. So at the start, there was a sheet of the jobs that needed to be done, and you write your name against the ones that you're willing or wanting to do. So I was cleaning the sinks and cleaning the dining table. This was something you only did twice, but it's this practice of helping and being part of the community and doing things together. And I absolutely love this. I always say we're supposed to help each other. We're supposed to be using our strengths. And I lived communally when I lived in Australia. I lived with 7 to 10 people in a house, and I cooked for people every night. Other people did the washing, did the cleaning, and helped each other out. And like that is possible. And that is a lifestyle that many people would thrive living in. And I've shared this dream with so many people of living in a community, expecting for people to be like, oh, that's not really possible. And they haven't. Most people I've shared this dream with, they're like, let me know when you start the community. I want to be part of it. And this is why I've started it with like community events and yeah, going to more communal things and doing session swaps as well. Like we don't have to always charge money for things. Like it's not all about money. Like we spoke on this retreat about like you're always giving a price to your time, like, and how much is your time worth? And that's interesting in itself to reflect on. Time is precious, and so many of us are giving so much of our time to things that don't matter to us. Lots of people are doing work that they absolutely hate, and that is what you're exchanging your time for. And is that worth it? Could there be another way? There is another way. And it's not to say that you're not going to be working, but you don't have to spend your time and energy doing things that don't serve you. You're here for a higher purpose. You are here to create impact in your own way. And you are here to enjoy life. Life is meant to be enjoyed. So, power of community, loved it. And I'm so excited to see the connections that build as part of this. My second like big takeaway was how far I've already come. I actually really didn't struggle with this retreat. And I will talk about the things I did find challenging because there was parts I definitely did find challenging. But I really managed to stay in a positive mindset, in a like pretty present state. And I've realized how much I've transformed my mindset over the last 5 years. I was someone in 2020 and beforehand that was an overthinker, a massive monkey mind. I had health anxiety, hypochondria. I had a constant to-do list, and I was burnt out. I was crying all the time. I was trying to do everything, go to the gym, do work, be a perfectionist, please other people. And I actually never connected with myself. I didn't know how to connect with myself. And it wasn't until I hired my first life coach and joined a women's program that that started to shift and unravel for me. And over the last 5 years, I've done so much. I don't even want to call it work. It is work, but I wanted to do it. And every time you learn something about yourself, every time that you implement something, you receive the transformation and the positive impact from doing it. And this grows and builds over time, that this is fun work. I think this is fun work. So I was so proud of myself for doing this whole experience, but also for the accumulation of all of the work that I've done to lead me into this position that I've been today, where I felt really calm. And I wasn't counting down the hours till I could leave. I wasn't wishing away the experience. I wasn't thinking about food at all. I wasn't thinking, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. I was accepting of the current situation and the experience I was having and making the most of it. And it really reminded me of my resilience and my ability to sit in the discomfort. I am someone who, especially in the last year, since post breakup, doing life on my own, moving to different countries, not knowing where I'm living because I've been house sitting and pet sitting, and also starting a business, not having consistent income or a boss or a like tight schedule. And yeah, I've very much sat in the discomfort. And there was a few moments where I was feeling uncomfortable, and I reminded myself, you can sit in the discomfort, you can sit in the discomfort. And I can. And it's amazing to be able to sit in the discomfort to and be like, this is okay. Like, we're not supposed to live all our life feeling super comfortable, happy. We're supposed to be expanding our comfort zone. There are going to be times that feel uncomfortable. And this is going to be the periods that you grow from and transform from. And I've always put myself in uncomfortable positions. I hosted a lecture at age 21 to a university lecture full of students in their second year. That was me putting myself out my comfort zone. And that is why I am the person that I am today. And it's not to say that I haven't got work to do, because that is absolutely not the case. The more you learn and the more you learn about yourself, the more you realize how much more there is to learn. And that was something I got from this too. I was like, wow, yes, I've come so far, but also there's still so much further to go. And I was able to learn so many insights about myself. So yes, I do have a positive mindset. I don't get caught up really in like negative spirals of thinking. Yes, on day one, the few things arose that had pissed me off over the last few months. Yeah, they did arise. And I was able to note them, know them, let them go. And I do believe I haven't held on to lots of negative things because of my ability to process them. I do a lot of journaling, I do a lot of mindset work, body work, and also to communicate them. I'm a communicator and I will communicate if someone has bothered me and speak my truth. And then when you know that you've done the thing that you could do, the thing that was in your control, it is so much easier to let it go rather than if you know you haven't said what you wanted to say, blah, blah, blah. You can let it ruminate in your mind, and that can keep you suffering for so much longer. I didn't struggle with the no dinners, found that easy. And I think it was easier because there was no option. If I had a fridge at home full of delicious food, I probably would have struggled. I didn't struggle with no phone. Again, there's no temptation. It wasn't anywhere near me. So it was what it was. But what I did realize with my thoughts was I still have a busy mind. This is my reality is yes, my thoughts are more positive, but I'm still thinking way more than I should or than is necessary. And it's not benefiting me to be thinking so much. So when we were labeling our thoughts, it enabled me to notice the types of thoughts that come into my mind. And mine was planning. I'm doing lots of planning. Ideas were coming for business, for workshops, for content, for this podcast, for potential, retreats, ideas. And I had to label so many and stop the thinking, let them go, continue being in the present moment. I've also realized I'm a fantasizer. I fantasize so much about the future and exciting things. And yes, that serves me to a degree. I love dreaming big and then bringing that to reality and imagining, this has already happened. This is my reality. And that is a way that you can manifest. But I also realize it's not beneficial for me to be fantasizing this much and spending so much time or like reoccurring thoughts on it when I could be spending this time so much more wisely and in the present moment. With fantasizing, one of the labels he gave us was wanting. It's like I'm wanting, wanting, wanting. So I kept going in my head like planning, wanting, fantasizing, planning, wanting as soon as they came up. And this is a tool you can use when thoughts arise, label them. What are they? Are they reflecting on the past, like remembering that, planning? Is it, thinking? That was the one that kept coming into mind as well. Every time you come and you receive a thought, it was labeling them and not spending too much time thinking about what the thought is and going into like fancy labels. But a lot of the time it was like thinking, okay, I'm thinking now, no, let it go. So many thoughts came into my mind. As I said, I found it easier when I was meditating, sitting, because I'm used to doing that. When I was walking, I was getting lots of thoughts and I was surprised at the amount. And I was getting intrusive thoughts too, like random things coming in. I was getting random people's faces popping in. And I was judging myself too. I was like, why are you still thinking about these things? Why can't you let it go? And often the more you're thinking about them, the more you're letting them in or rejecting them, if you've got this like strong emotional like response or reaction, the more they're going to stay there. So I really had to practice letting go and processing and surrendering and not judging myself. And so when I was like, oh, interesting, you're judging yourself. Let that go, let's start again. So it was really, really, really fascinating. This is really something I want to continue working on. And like a main thing that I'm going to take away is there's a time and place for me for planning. I don't need to be doing this all the time. In my free time, spare time, time when I'm relaxing, meditating, spending time with people, I don't want to be planning. I don't want to be fantasizing. I don't want to be wanting. I want to be present. And then I'm going to create time, specific time to do the things that I want to do. Discipline was also a lesson. We need to be disciplined. This was really something, no one else can do this for you. No one else can do this inner work for you. No one else can do the mindset for work for you. And you have to be disciplined. If you allow yourself to drift off and be like, oh, I'm just going to have a break, I'm just going to allow my mind to wander, then it's not going to support you. And no, you don't have to do it in 5 to 7 days straight. And yes, supposed to have downtime. I'm not saying don't do that, but you have to be disciplined on whatever you want to achieve and do. And for me, I was like, right, I take loads of action, but I take a lot of action on the stuff that I find fun. And I can take more action on the things that I've been putting off and the things that I don't find fun and the things that I've been avoiding. I can also be so much more intentional with my time. I've always wanted to be more disciplined with my phone boundaries. That's a non-negotiable for me now. I don't need to be checking my phone regularly. I don't need to be replying to people immediately. I want to spend more time in real life, focusing on my business and in just enjoying myself and working on like my self-development. So we need to be intentional. Don't let the distractions get in the way. Everything is impermanent, and we spoke about this. Well, the teacher spoke about this. What you're going through right now isn't going to be your experience forever. And it is so amazing to remind yourself, like, this is just me in the moment. So there was one period of time, one walk in meditation, I really struggled. I was getting so pissed off, frustrated. The thoughts kept coming in. And that was my one time where I was like, I just want to go now. Like, if someone could tell me, this is the day before we were leaving. And I was like, if someone could just tell me, you can go now, like, I would do it. I would go. And I wouldn't have, but like, I would have been tempted. And I was just, couldn't get out of my head. I was in a mood. I was feeling annoyed. I was feeling tearful. And then we had the Dharma talk after this session. And every time this man did a talk, he told me the things, or asked the things that I needed to hear in that moment. And I always think this is so magic. We always receive what we need to know at that moment in time. And he was talking about how everything is impermanent, and some sessions are going to be easier and better than others. Some are going to be more challenging, and like, not to judge yourself on that. And that is just part of life. And I was like, oh yeah, this is just a part, like that was just this session. And like, if I had a challenging session, that probably means that my other sessions I'm going to have today will be less challenging. And that was so amazing. So whatever you're going through, know it's going to pass. And then laughter is the best medicine. I laughed every single day. The Dharma talks, the man, the way he communicated was so magic. He had so much knowledge and insight, a lot of Buddhist teachings. And everything he said hit something. Obviously, I don't remember it all, but you remember the things that you need to remember and receive what you need to receive at that moment in time. But the way he communicated it literally made the experience. I was in laughter at least twice a day listening to him, and like looking around, seeing everyone else giggle as well, just like honestly made my day. We need it. We need laughter. Life's not supposed to be serious. Like, we do not have to take everything so seriously. And I know that's something I'm here to do and give as well. One of my clients shared with me the week before I went into the retreat, I started working with you because I know that I can have more fun, and like, life doesn't have to be so serious. I can be playful. I can play with life. I can have fun doing the work that I need to do. And that is me. And I love that I get to be that. And I love that I get to receive that too. So if you're not laughing on a daily basis, change something. Watch videos, spend time with people that make you laugh at yourself, do silly things. One of my clients was sharing, oh, I thought maybe I'm going to put on a silly hat and like laugh at myself before I do whatever task she was going to do. And I was like, yeah, like be playful. Like this life is for fun. I did have blissful experiences during the meditations. Not always. I actually, if I'm honest, was expecting, wanting more mystical experiences. I'm someone who loves the spiritual. I always want and enjoy a deep spiritual connection with myself, but also with the unseen world. I love receiving insights. I love receiving visions. And I do want to develop I'm always developing my intuition. I do have strong intuition, but also I want to develop my psychic senses. So I guess I was hoping for that. And it wasn't something that I felt I received in the way I guess that I would have liked to receive it. But also I was there for the process. And I did get into some blissful meditation states. A lot of the states and experiences I had are experiences that I have had in meditation or Reiki or sound healing journeys in my day-to-day life. So I do want to say you don't have to do a silent retreat to experience mystical and deep connection and blissful states. You can do this with everyday practices. One experience I had, which I've had in a Reiki session, was shaking. I could feel my physical body was still, but my insides were shaking and moving and processing energy. It didn't shock me because it's happened before, but it did give me vertigo. After this experience, I felt like wobbly on my feet, and it was just before bed, so it's fine. I went to my tent, went to sleep, and I was like, you'll be fine in the morning. I woke up in the morning and I still was so wobbly. I was really struggling for my balance, but I took it one step at a time, managed to get into my meditation. Then we did yoga. And again, I was really struggling with my balance. And again, this was a time where I thought, I don't know if I can actually do the next session. I don't know if I'm going to have to sit out. I don't know if I'm going to have to like go and get myself a hot drink. But I really didn't want to miss anything. I really wanted to go in and do it all. Because some people did miss out some sessions, and no judgment, everyone's there for their own reasons. Like everyone did amazing, no matter, if they took time out, and we've always got to do what's best for us. But that was one experience, and the vertigo did go after food, which was good. My mum also experienced vertigo on a day before or after me, which was really interesting that we both experienced that. And I do want to share as well, there was some meditations that I found harder, and 45 minutes is quite a long time, especially when you've been we did 6 sitting meditations every day. And I think it was on day 1 or maybe day 2. There was 3 separate times where the meditation finished because the gong went off. And my initial thought was, thank fuck. And that happened 3 times. And I was like, oh dear, like this, I don't want to be feeling like thank fuck. But it did get easier and easier over time. The walking meditations got easier. I noticed how much I was improving. The thoughts were lessening. And really it felt like a week's intensive workout for your mind. People go and do those fitness things for a week in Thailand or whatever. And it felt like that for the mind, where you're literally every moment working on your mindset, on living in the present moment and planting seeds, receiving knowledge, receiving insights. And yeah, I know that this will stay with me forever. So yeah, it was like a gym for your brain. You get to train your brain. You get to decide your internal state, and you get to decide to live a blissful state for a lot of your life if you choose to do this work. So firstly, I'm going to say follow the nudge and do the things that you feel called to do. If there's an event, a retreat, a activity, maybe a country that you've been wanting to go to, maybe you want to start a new job, it might be something big, might be something small, do it. You're nudged for a reason. It's your intuition guiding you to do it. You will receive magic. Secondly, if you are ready to create a positive mindset and a deeper connection with yourself, where you know that your mind is like a happy place to be, and where you could actually spend 5 days straight in silence with your mind and know that you can handle any challenges, know that you can handle any discomfort. Work with me. This is what I'm supporting my clients with, to have a deep connection with yourself, to fully love and accept yourself for who you are, be the most authentic version of yourself, but also shift your mindset and your beliefs to support you, to create this mindset that enables you to enjoy each day, that enables you to handle the challenges, that enables you to practice gratitude and to receive the signs each day, to connect deeper with your body and to follow the callings of your soul and live the life that you're meant to be living. Send me a DM on Instagram or an email at hello@empoweredwitheffie.com. You can change your life and I want to support you to do it. They're my main takeaways. I would love to hear from you when you listen to this and receive your thoughts and reflections on this. A few kind of extra pieces just to reflect on how far I've come to is I let a spider sleep in my tent. I saw quite a few spiders. I took them all as signs. Spiders are very spiritual. One of them was in my tent and I saw it scuttle and I was like, before that would really bother me. And I was like, I'm just going to let it sleep there. It's going to be fine. And it was fine. I didn't see it again. And yeah, why let something like that bother me? This is an animal. Like, and animals get to live life. Like, we shouldn't take life in any way. I'm going to put an exception there for, I probably am still going to kill mosquitoes because I just will. Anyway, I was like, wow, I can sleep with this in my tent. Secondly, anyone who knows me knows that I've really struggled with health anxiety in the past, specifically fear of amputation. This is something that I have had a fear of since I was like 5 years old. I remember sitting in front of the TV watching the news. There was a young girl that had lost both her legs to meningitis. And I remember being so like fearful of this. And I remember being in year 6 at school thinking, why is no one worried about losing their legs today? This was a real ingrained thing. Irrational, completely irrational. No one else at that age was worried to the degree that I was worried. And this carried on throughout my like teenage years as well. And anyway, there was a man at the retreat who had one leg. And this, it didn't bother me at all. He was a lovely man. And this also reminded me how far I've come, because I've been in situations throughout my life, and I'm being really honest here, I never wanted to feel this way. But where I've gone into pubs, places, I've seen someone with an amputated leg specifically, and I've gone into like a panic, like a fear. It was as if you had told me that you were going to cut off my leg there and then in that moment. And I was receiving it as if it was going to happen to me. And I knew that was something I really wanted to overcome. And I've done a lot of work to overcome that over the years. And I have. And this was a reminder. And I know this, I had this irrational fear because I lost both my legs in a previous life. I actually think it was the last life before this one. And I've carried this fear into this lifetime. And I'm actually not scared about it now at all, which feels magic. And it's like these fears that you have within you may come from your childhood or something. They can be something that can be worked through and processed, or they might be from a past life. They don't have to hold power over you forever. You get to shift and change this. And I'm so proud of myself and letting go of things that once bothered me and enabling myself to live this magic life that is available to us all. I'm feeling so much gratitude. I'm feeling a little bit emotional, very proud. I'm very excited for what's to come and sending you all so much love. Mwah.